Medieval India, chapter number 9, page number 100. The success of the Portuguese was, however, more apparent than real. From the beginning, they had to face a number of challenges, both external and internal. The external challenge was the one posed by the Turks, who were sometimes joined by Arabs and some Indian powers. After conquering Syria, Egypt, and Arabia, the Turks had gone on to conquer Eastern Europe, threatening Vienna, the capital of Central Europe, and the key to its defense in 1529. The growth of the Turkish power on the coast of Red Sea and the Persian Gulf seemed to presage a conflict between the Turks and the Portuguese for dominating the western part of Indian Ocean. The Ottoman Grand Vizier Lufti Pasha, writing after 1541, told the Turkish Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, "Under the previous sultans there were many who ruled the land, but few who ruled the sea. In the conflict, in the conduct of naval warfare, the infidels are ahead of us. We must overcome them." In the view of the growing Portuguese threat to the Gujarat trade and coastal areas, the Sultan of Gujarat sent an embassy to the Ottoman ruler, congratulating him on his victories and seeking his support. In return, the Ottoman ruler expressed a desire to combat the infidels, that is, the Portuguese, who had disturbed the shores of Arabia. From this time onwards, there was a continuous exchange of embassies and letters between the two countries. After ousting the Portuguese from Red Sea, in 1529 a strong fleet under Suleiman Reis was dispatched to aid Bahadur Shah, the ruler of Gujarat. Bahadur Shah received it well, and the two of the Turkish officials who were given Indian names were appointed governors of Surat and Diu, respectively. Of the two, Rumi Khan was later earned the great name for himself as Master Gunner. In 1531, after intriguing with local officials, the Portuguese attacked Daman and Diu, but the Ottoman commander Rumi Khan repulsed the attack. However, the Portuguese built a fort at Chaul lower down the coast. Before the Gujarat-Turkish alliance could be consolidated, a bigger threat to Gujarat appeared from the side of the Mughals. Humayun attacked Gujarat. In order to meet his threat, Bahadur Shah granted the island of Bassein to Portuguese. A defensive offensive alliance against the Mughals was also concluded, and the Portuguese allowed to build a fort at Diu. Thus, the Portuguese were able to establish their foothold in Gujarat. Bahadur Shah soon repented his concessions to the Portuguese. Following the expulsion of the Mughals from Gujarat, he once again appealed to the Ottoman Sultan for help and tried to limit the Portuguese encroachments at Diu. During the negotiations, Bahadur Shah, who was aboard one of the ships of the governor of the fort, suspected treachery. In a scuffle which ensued, the Portuguese governor was killed and Bahadur Shah was drowned while swimming ashore. This was in 1536. Although the Ottoman sultans claimed to be champions of Islam and hence opponents of the Portuguese, they did not, in practice, seriously contest the position of the Portuguese in Persian Gulf or beyond. This, beside the fact that the Turks had broadly kept pace with the growth of artillery and to a lesser extent the naval sciences in the West. The Turkish navy dominated the eastern Mediterranean and even made raids beyond Gibraltar. The Turks made their biggest naval demonstration against the Portuguese in Indian waters in 1536. Their fleet consisted of 45 galleons carrying 20,000 men, including 7,000 land soldiers or janissaries. Many of the sailors had been pressed into service from the Venetian galleys at Alexandria. The fleet, commanded by Suleiman Pasha, an old man of 82, who was most trusted man of the Sultan, and had been appointed the governor of Cairo, appeared before Diu in 1538 and besieged it. Unfortunately, the Turkish admiral believed in an arrogant manner, so that the Sultan of Gujarat withdrew his support. Behaved in an arrogant manner, so that the Sultan of Gujarat withdrew his support. After a siege of 2 months, the Turkish fleet retired, following news of the arrival of a formidable Portuguese armada to relieve Diu. The Turkish threat to Portuguese persisted for another 2 decades. In 1551, Peri Rais, who was assisted by the Zamorian of Calicut, attacked the Portuguese forts at Muscat and Omruz. Meanwhile, the Portuguese strengthened their position by securing Daman from its ruler. A final Ottoman expedition was sent under Ali Rais in 1554. The failure of these expeditions resulted in the final change in the Turkish attitude. In 1566, the Portuguese and the Ottomans came to an agreement to share the spice and the Indian trade and not to clash in the Arab seas. The Ottomans shifted their interest once again to Europe and came to an agreement with the Portuguese for dividing the Oriental trade between them. This precluded their alliance with the rising Mughal power against the Portuguese, but it also had economic consequences, as we shall see. Thank you for tuning in. In the next part, we'll start with the last part of this chapter, the Portuguese impact on the Indian trade, society, and politics. You can see on your screen some videos about starting of this chapter, the Portuguese advent in India, and some videos on modern India as well. You can also see on the screen some videos about the editorial analysis that we along with our team did, and we appreciate you all for looking through it. Thank you for tuning in. All the best for exams, and do share and subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Thank you.